Hello and welcome. It's Friday. Welcome back to Maidencast episode 33. And this week we are back with the main men, Iron Maiden. We are doing the Later Day masterpiece, A Matter of Life and Death. A new milestone when the album was first released. To the point where the band even made the point of playing the album in full first time, and well, they've never done it since.
The only time, yeah. Yeah, I was there.
The only time so far that they've ever done that with an album. And has it aged well? Let's find out. In the meantime, let me ask you all, did you enjoy summer?
Yeah.
It is well and true.
Pissed down for the rest of the fucking week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the rest of the week, or next week and all. Yeah.
So I remember when the day this was released, I wrote, just like with Dance of Death.
That's a different album altogether.
Yeah. Dance of Death. I was still working in the building with the HMV just round the corner from one of our entrances. So I, 10 o'clock, ran round the corner and picked up this edition. Not a lot of difference, really, between this and the remaster. This is just in a digipack. The booklets are exactly the same. And this one as well, you get a DVD of a making of documentary, and it was the first time.
First time I've done it, and the only time.
Yeah, first
I
time the
watched
band
it last night, actually.
ever look. Let us fucking get together, Joe. The first time the band ever let a film crew in the studio while they were recording. There you go.
Yeah,
I got there in the
end.
I
watched it last night. It's yeah. I wish they'd do it more often because it's such a brilliant insight.
Yeah, it's not really given away.
You know how Metallica work, but watching Maiden, it was like a fucking dark art. Trying to watch Maiden, you got how do they do it? Do they write while they're in there? Do they do this? Do they do this? Do they argue? And it was a pretty cool half an hour.
Yeah, I remember the joke at the end was getting on thingy with work, and he goes, "Oh, I love work. I could watch it for hours."
That's it.
This was more or less recorded live, though. Apparently, a lot of this album was actually done in one take, well. And they actually finished the album with 2 months to spare. Which, great. Thankfully, they didn't let that. You can imagine some albums or some bands with 2 months to spare. They'd spend that 2 months fucking about and
twiddling and all that,
twiddling and twitching, shit. And it's like, no, you've now ruined what was fine if you'd left it.
No, I mean, I think once, let's be honest, you got Harris, but I think once Roddy is it ain't changing. I always imagine, Roddy's like, well, you ain't fucking changing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he knows, he smells money. You can smell it in a fucking, in an hurricane, he can sniff out a fiver. So I think if he is something he likes, he ain't going to let him twiddle with it. And to be fair to Steve and that, I don't think they would. They're professionals.
Yeah, I think they know, didn't they?
If this had been 1981 again, 1982, perhaps. But now they know what they're doing.
He would have gone, tell you what, why don't we record another album? And well, we got the time. I'll just write one. And but Iron Maiden basically go full bolt thrower on this one and just do an album about war. Basically a bit of religion in there as well. It's quite funny actually.
It's that concept, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's the fact that some people insist that this band is satanic. It goes to show, because we've gone through this, especially in the later albums. They're not a Christian band by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get me wrong, but they allude more to that worldview and dip into that.
Well, you're saying that Steve actually says Steve actually says in the documentary. He says, "I'm not pro-religion, but I'm not anti-religion either. Yeah. I question stuff, and I think he said in the line in the song, it's got a lot to answer for, but he's not having a pop at it. He's not advocating it. He's just saying, look,
It's just funny that the band have known for for that, but they've only ever mentioned the Satan or anything like that in one song, as far as I'm aware. Number of the Beast. They've never gone near it again.
Yeah, that's the only one that was overtly about that. Yeah,
and even then, it's not satanic. It's about a man who stumbles across a satanic mass.
That's it.
Who, as he goes to run away and inform the law, he gets mesmerised and drawn into it. It's a horror story. Yeah, one song, and but I think mainly if you tallied up, I think War would be the most common.
Yeah, of course it would. Yeah, whether they're
or Flight.
Yeah, no, I think War wins it. Whether they're sort of good old days of Aces High, where they're like, yeah, or now when they're looking at it a bit differently.
In fact, it's just as much as
Afraid to Shoot Strangers and stuff like that. It's
just as much questioning of it as well, isn't there? And obviously and criticism, like a song like Holy Smoke.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this one it's a kind of a concept. I think these sort of concept albums work a bit better because it's a running theme.
Yeah, rather
than being tied to a narrative.
Yeah.
And I think it works really well. I think they pulled it off. I think they did well not to reattempt it as well. They did just once and move on. Yeah. Some people get into a habit of doing concept albums, and then their concept album becomes a double album, and
yeah. Or in Queenswhite's case, they do a sequel that, let's face it, should never have seen the light of day. Really.
No. I actually got that concert where they do the 2 in full.
Mind Crime at the Moor. Yeah, I've got it.
That was a long.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't think I've actually watched the second one.
No,
I couldn't even make it through the album, so I'm not going to make it through. And watch
Melissa walked in as well, and she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" Because it's like a Meatloaf concert. Yeah, he's in costume and he's got his mic round here, and he's singing to that person over there, and then that person's singing back to him, and it's just like, what the. You can't, if you want Operation Mind Crime in full live, the best thing to do is get Operation Live Crime from back in the day. The band on top form. I think of course, go and see it if you got the opportunity. I mean, me and you went to see it in the Underworld. I think you ain't going to get better than that. You saw it in Chinnery's as well, didn't you?
3 times. Chinnery's, the Underworld, and the Garage I saw it at.
Oh, cool. And it's just been announced today that the All Singing All Dancing edition is coming out. That and Empire. Have you seen that? And Blabbermouth?
Oh no, I haven't seen that actually.
Yeah, one comes with 4 CDs and a DVD. The other one, I think, 3 CDs and a DVD, something like that.
Oh, cool. I'll check that shit out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I wasn't quite convinced. I might look into it again. You do get a lot of content though. So there's a concert though. Split in half, so you got to get one to get the first half.
Right, yeah.
This Hammersmith Apollo, 1990, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because that's when because they didn't actually play Mind Crime live on the Mind Crime tour. They didn't do the whole thing.
No,
it was the Empire tour where they did
it. You think they would have? Yeah, but yeah, interesting. Anyway, digression. You should be used to them by now, regular listeners. So, yeah, we was at that tour as well, so we've seen this album done live. I got to admit that in hindsight, that was a bit of a long show. I'm glad they did it, but I'm glad they did it once. They didn't insist on it, did they? They did it that one tour, and then they dropped it.
It was more to prove a point that they're still a current band.
They weren't
reunion, all this.
They weren't a greatest hits band, but then again, they got a bit of flack when because the first show with Bruce returning was actually the Brave New World was out at that point, wasn't it? He didn't when they did that first tour with Bruce back. They didn't actually do any British dates.
Yeah. No,
so the first show back with Bruce was in London was Earl's Court, and apparently everyone. There was a bit of backlash because of all the new material they played, but it's like, we're not a greatest hits band, never were.
No, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Look at all the new album tours; they've always been loads of new songs, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you anything else you want to cover, we'll get into the songs.
Well, this was hot on the heels of Ozfest. Oh, Ozfest. It's where the These Colours Don't Run come from, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think the song was already written and recorded at that point, and that's why he had it in his mind.
Possibly.
And that was a line in one of the magazines. It was These Colours Don't Run isn't about Sharon effing Osbourne.
No. I mean, it's probably where he got the title from, because it suits a war story, doesn't it? That title.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it was written about her.
I think it was all. I don't know. Unless we ask him flat out, but I think the song was already in the bag at that point, and that's when he just. That's why he came up with it.
But I mean, I don't know whether that fired them up or not, because it definitely they definitely on this album they're firing on all cylinders. More so than they were for Dance of Death.
This one's a bit more. Dance of Death was it was a diverse album, which is a polite way of saying it was a bit all over the place, wasn't it? They literally they really were branching out on that. Yeah, it was right. Let's make I think Brave New World. There was an excitement. There was excitement in. Yeah,
they'd made the quintessential Maiden album. This was like, right, we've done that. All 6 of us together. What can we actually do?
Yeah,
and they tried a bit of fucking
as further as they could.
Yeah.
And I think that album could have had a bit of fat cut off it in places, but there is a lot of. But it was necessary because there's a lot of rare stuff on there as well. There's a lot of stuff they didn't do before, haven't done again, and there's a lot of hidden gems on that album. But this one is a lot more conducive, a lot more compact, shall we say?
Yeah, and apparently they didn't master this either.
No, they
that's normally the process, isn't it? You record it, you mix it, you master it. It's the way it's always been done.
Yeah.
But apparently when they heard it, Steve spoke to Kevin Shirley. He was like, you know what, I ain't going to master this. And Kevin Shirley was like, no, mate, you're right.
Yeah, well, they've remastered it for the...
Yeah, but I can't really tell the difference. I suppose probably what they've done with a lot of stuff, they probably tweaked levels here and there.
Yeah, or just giving it. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to that sort of stuff. So I'm not even.
No, I mean it's normally when you remaster something, you can tell. I mean, look at Megadeth, the remastered version of Killing Is My Business. Yeah, sounds totally different. Totally different. In fact, I can't even listen to the original one anymore.
What are you talking about? Sorry,
the remastered version of Killing Is My Business.
Yeah,
from Megadeth. That you can tell when something's been remastered. It sounds.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Different. Yeah. They sound like night and fucking day. But with the Maiden remasters, they don't sound different. I think they just tweak levels here and there just to even it out. I noticed it on Brave New World. The keyboards in Nomad on the original version, they're fucking right loud, but on the remaster, they're.
Yeah, but on the X Factor, they're actually turned up.
Yeah.
Because if you remember me saying, like, I used to think, can I hear them? Like,
that's it, yeah.
And then, yeah.
So, I mean, this remastering is like totally, it's where you can totally fuck with the sound of the album, I suppose, with the mastering process. And they just wanted that live sound, which, if you can believe what they said in the documentary, that most of the stuff on the album was done from the first take.
Because he had that thing where they're all set up and recording together. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's definitely it's a better sounding record than Dance of Death, without doubt.
Yeah.
There's a lot more full, doesn't sound so compressed, probably because it wasn't mastered. So, whatever, like I say, I'm not au fait with the technology, but whatever it is, it sounds good. It worked for me. So,
yeah. All right. So let's get into it. The opening track, Different World.
Oh.
It wasn't the first single off the album, but
this is the only single on the album, only really. Let's not fuck about. This is the only typical Maiden.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. The reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg. Is it? Is that how you spell it? Pronounce it. And that was released quite a while before the album, actually, wasn't it? I remember buying that single as a CD, and because it was over a certain time limit, it couldn't be counted in the charts.
Yes, so it was just there, But
I'm not sure if it would have gone to number one, but it certainly would have charted.
Oh yeah, of course it would have done. Well, because it made and spread it across different formats, didn't they?
Really cool artwork on that as well.
Oh yeah,
and There was a bit of hype and a bit of a thingy about what the origin of the song was, which
it was all,
ultimately led to nothing.
Yeah. I think with the artwork, it was the only time you really see Eddie in this cycle, because on the album artwork, he's very much part of the ensemble, isn't he? He's not there. He's just somewhere on the tank. But whereas with the single artwork, he's obviously full on with the fucking pickaxe, you know, giving it the Eddie that we know and love sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll go into the lyrical content of that beforehand when we get to the song. But yeah, and then we had the full album, and this was released as a single. They went for a phase of doing these CGI animated videos, and they were all crap.
They were shit then.
Yeah, and I did mention, I've said this before, but I did like the Speed of Light one, the way he was going through all the different stages of computer games.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Pretty cool. But apart from that, no, not a fan. Different World, I think just as a like sort of headline before, I think this does work very much as one piece. Some albums you do need to listen to the entire thing. Yes, you could take certain songs and whatnot, but like Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, for example, you need to set aside 45 minutes or whatever it is. You need to listen to that in full. The whole thing makes more sense as one piece conducively together. And I think this is the first Iron Maiden album. Of course, you've got like a Brave New World where it's like a winning streak. Every song is great. But this is to me, a single piece. And I think that's why they made that point of playing the whole thing live. Yeah. So this isn't a particularly great album opener in the tradition of album openers with Maiden, but it is a good album opener for this album.
I was going to say, I think it's 4 minutes and 18 seconds of pretty much perfection.
Yeah. Well, it's not an Aces High or a Wicker Man, is what I mean.
No. But like you say, it's a different. Because obviously the Thin Lizzy influence is obviously plain, isn't it, for all to see in that chorus.
Yeah,
it's a slightly different. Like you say, I agree with what you're saying. Because when you first started saying it's not a particularly good album, I was like, whoa, hang about. But obviously you qualify. You say it's not the traditional type of Maiden.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking great upbeat rock song. I mean, I could listen to it all day. But like you say, it's not the full-on Maiden thing where they've tried to fuck with the tradition almost. And for me, it works. I mean, it's not a traditional album opener, but I think it's one of their best album openers.
Mm. Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing. I think we're coming to the same conclusion from a different direction. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it in any way, but
it's not. It's not representative of what comes after it either.
No, and that's what I'm getting at. There's this album just unfolds and then unfolds again, and it opens up.
But it is weird because this is obviously a Smith-Harris combo.
Yeah,
you normally know what you're getting, but this takes it slightly off centre a bit, and it's like, well, fucking hell, it's still with the hooks, which is where obviously Adrian comes in. But when you think of what else he's written on the album, I think his experience of writing Passchendaele has really changed him as a songwriter.
That's something I meant to come up with, actually. I think the seeds were sown with the track Passchendaele, and when they played that live on the Dance of Death tour, that was the centerpiece of the show.
Yeah.
And I think that, the stage setup, they had the trenches.
Oh, it was great,
wasn't
it? We can go into that more
war
with the
uniform,
live albums, can't we? But,
flashing lights. Then that's when I said that, this is better than Metallica's One.
Yeah.
And I think that just opened up,
Yeah, it was,
the seeds were planted, and now we got a whole album.
I think he likes now having more. Sorry, I think he now realises when he writes a longer song, he's got more room to let his ideas breathe. Where instead of trying to cram them into 3 or 4 minutes, he now goes 7-8 minutes, and he's a unique songwriter anyway.
Yeah.
But now he writes something even further off the chart, off the reservation, because he's going for 8 minutes.
This was the expansion. That was the precursor to this. This was the fully explored version of that. The only thing I think wrong with this album is that Passchendaele's not on it. But
it would have sat in well, wouldn't it, with the theme and the motifs?
Yeah, exactly. But then again, I like that. You know, some bands have done that as well. I think Ice Earth did like a trilogy of songs. There was like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then later on they went. I think no, it was a 2-part song, and then a few years later they revisited it and went, yeah, that 2-part song, we've extended that into an album.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it quite worked. I think the just leaving it as a 2-part was.
I'd never really.
It'd be like Iron Maiden going, yeah, we're doing a sequel to Hello, Been Our Name. It's like, no, don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really understood Iced Earth, so I can't really comment either way, sort of thing. It was never my cup of tea.
I think the first 5 or so albums are pretty good. The up until a live album, they did a live album where they tried to rival Life After Death.
Oh, right.
And they had this showing Grease books at the end of the tour, and they ended up doing it 2 or maybe 3 nights, I think. Doing this off the top of my head. But where I think Grease was they kind of sparked in Grease. They always had really good audience there. So when they went, right, we're going to do a couple of nights, what we'll do is a couple of sets. So we'll do a different set every night. So it became like a triple album.
Oh, right.
But that was sort of like the peak. I think like maybe there was an album afterwards as well where he basically had the rhythm section of Death. So he had Steve DiGiorgio and Richard Christie, who did the last Death album.
Yeah.
And that was called Horror Show, and all the songs were based on different horror films. That was a good album.
Oh, right, cool.
But yeah, pretty much that backwards for me was them at their best. But they were like, we're the American Iron Maiden. That was their aim. But the funny thing was, they were always touring with death metal bands. It'd be like Cannibal Corpse, Ice Earth, or I think they might have toured. They might have done an early tour with Death. I don't know, but yeah, they're all right. The stuff I like, I don't like everything by them, but the stuff I like, I do. Yeah. But yeah, it's a different world. Yeah, you got it. It kind of does run out of the gates, really, with that dan 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 dan.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, Harry,
you have
starts the album, doesn't he, with his little unmistakable voice.
You mean Nico?
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah. Harry. Yeah. He don't do that anymore, does he? He did that with Dance to Death. You know, 1, 2, 1, 2. But,
well, we didn't comment on the one he did at the end of the thin line between Love and Hate. If you keep the song going at the end, I fucking missed it, and everyone starts laughing. But it's like
he had it, the X Factor as well, didn't he? He goes, well, right, I think that's the one. Let's go and have a listen.
That's it, yeah.
So yeah, I think Different World sets the tone. Really, it's again, a song like Aces High, a song, it's like, follow that. This doesn't. It just doesn't have that feel to me. It has this is chapter 1 of a book.
Yeah, like I say, I don't think
it hasn't got that standalone.
It doesn't. I don't think he wants to be that. I think Different World.
No, it's not a criticism either. It's
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So right,
it starts us off quite nicely. It doesn't really give too much away to what's coming, because you're about to, the old flower's starting to bloom, and it's going to fucking give it all this now, isn't it?
So the
track 2, These Colours Don't Run. It's the first of many of Smith, Harris, Dickinson. They fucking worked a lot on this.
Yeah,
together, and I think what really stands out on this more than any Maiden album, or this was the start of it for me, Bruce's lyrics on this album are fucking fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's like poetry now. It's instead of it words.
And I think where he's got that one theme, he can, build upon and explore, and he can go anywhere he wants with it within this. And he can really sort of, and not only that, he can also hone in on certain subjects as well, rather than be all over the place. And I think having this is going to be one big piece of work. He can and must help concentrate better. You know what I mean? With
that's right. I love the way this starts off. That the intro is great, spine tingling with the picking, and you've got the subtle keyboards just at a constant level, just there.
It just gives that layer of mist, doesn't it?
Yeah, like on the battlefield almost. Do you know what I mean? It's a good metaphor. But no, it's right, and it does just keeps it going nicely. And
one thing as well, just sorry, before I forget, this is about war in general as well. It's not about a particular war.
Yeah, no, just about war in general. Isn't it?
Yeah, which again is it's set in stone but fluid at the same time, because you can.
That's it. Yeah, you can dip in and across.
And it's more about the philosophy and the questioning of it, and we go everywhere. We start off with a song like "These Colours Don't Run," so you could sort of talk about the sort of propaganda or the push to get the troops rallied up.
The men sort of going
about patriotism, and then there'll be a song later on like "The Greater Good of God," where you're looking at going, well, is this really worth it? And what are we doing this for? You have that moment of doubt, and it explores a lot of this is from the perspective of a soldier as well, and I think Bruce said that he did a bit of research and started reading a lot of war books, and he said the funny thing was they were never, when they did these these amazing brave things, and they're telling these stories, and oh my god, how did you do that? Like, how did you get the thing? There was all this for country, for Queen and country, for the cause, for the thing, defeating evil. He said the soldiers never said that. It was like, well, I did it because he was going to kill my mate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, at the end of the day, survival, wasn't it?
I did it. I had to do it. You save someone from. I had to. He's my mate.
Yeah.
It was a lot simpler. From the
it's always a lot simpler on the battlefield, isn't it? It's you or them. It's well, talking with no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, and so, just the lyrics in this as well. Far away from the land of our birth, we travel to a foreign earth, and you do like I picture my granddad when he, they were all the kids, and they were kids.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? Teenagers, like late teens, early 20s.
They couldn't wait to sign up for the army. My granddad signed up for the RAF. He didn't pass the eyesight, so a man come up to him, gave him a leaflet. Went, well, have you thought about joining the Navy instead?
Yeah.
And all right, and that was it. He was.
That's it. Yeah, done.
In the Navy, and he was out in Japan at one point. He was pulling an oil tanker had blown up or spilt. It was a fire. Yeah, he was pulling people on fire out of the wall. That was a rescue mission he was on.
Yeah,
and you just see that this conjures up to me just that excitement that a young kid would have, going on an adventure. This is going to be,
Yeah, I mean, you talking about your granddad being out in Japan. I mean, my granddad is no longer with us. So he spent most of his time in Iceland. He was like radio stations, I think. And my granddad, who's still with us, he actually fought. He was fucking. He was the part of the team that took Italy, and then he was part of the occupying force for Germany when Hitler went.
Yeah,
and my great uncle actually died in Japan. He was a POW.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Neither of my granddads actually fought. My granddad was in the Navy, and I think they did a lot, mainly rescue missions and supply missions, and things like that. And my other granddad was a mechanic, so he didn't actually fight. He was repairing, working on tanks or whatever the fuck it was, but. So I didn't actually fight. I was just I don't know if he was too young or what, but he was
all part of the effort though, wasn't
it? Yeah. He had a funny eye, my granddad, because he was on his back and dropped a screwdriver in his eye. He could have, in all fairness, he could have made a much cooler story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe he dumbed it down because he didn't want to talk. Who knows? I know Melissa's granddad says, I didn't do any fighting. I hid up a banana tree the whole time, waiting for it. Apparently that was a common one. If a lot of soldiers didn't want to talk about, I was like, no. I didn't do nothing. I just hid up a tree the whole time. No. Yeah. So these colours don't run.
I think. We've gone on talking about all these stories. I think it's because the music has set like you said yourself, the keyboards that add like a layer of mist across the battlefield. The music, they've got this knack, Maiden, of writing a song that really puts you in where the song is based. You know, they know how to write
Kind
this
of-
music that puts you on the battlefield, or puts you in ancient Egypt, or puts you in a fucking medieval castle somewhere, or whatever. And I think just by talking about the song, we've talked about, you know, shit.
Yeah, and the
Things
song
like that, you know?
starts with a dreary kind of bleak setting. So you think maybe like maybe
The
the
aftermath
rising
of
sun
battle,
over a
or something like
battlefield
that,
where it all kicked off yesterday. Say,
yeah,
so there still might be some bodies or some
yeah,
damage
that's
or
it, yeah,
fire going off. But then by the time you're at the chorus, you're at an air base
yeah,
or on a ship with the sun, you know, and it's bright and sunny, and there's this, you know, this adventure ahead of you. So it kind of becomes one of those films that does start sort of at the end and
yeah.
then goes back to the
Goes
beginning
back, yeah,
thing. And yeah, the way that's painted is so much better than telling the story with words,
yeah.
you know. Yeah, are you happy with this song? Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Um,
fucking great song. It almost works as a sort of a bit of a weird one the way it plays out, like Virus Part 2. With Virus, where the song, it does the verse and chorus, verse, chorus, then it goes into a middle section that sort of carries the song through. And this does.
yes, and you've got that sort of haunting melody as well with
Yeah.
obviously Bruce does
And
the sing.
yeah, the whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
who's and all that. But it works.
Um,
Obviously, the music's different and all the rest of it, but it's the
there
way it
is
plays. It sort
there
of
is
follows the same sort of
yeah,
part.
there's quite a few long instrumental sections in this as well. There are times where Bruce hasn't got a lot to do. He kind of
That's it.
it is quite a there's a lot of opportunities to quickly go off and have a cup of tea and a biscuit and quickly
Yeah.
rub back on and bang.
You know, don't you? But no, I
So,
mean, this is we're you know, the balls, we're still moving forward. I mean, this is a great song and they're firing on
yeah.
all cylinders. But as far as I'm concerned, they're about to fucking bring out the big guns now on track 3.
Yeah, it gets not that this is bad in any way, but it does
No.
get a hell of a lot better. I
Yeah.
mean, These Colours Don't Run would have been a crowning achievement on a lesser album, but yeah.
But not with Latter Day Maiden, mate. They're a bigger fish to fry.
So
and brighter than 1,000 suns, mate. Fucking hell. I mean, I first heard this on the radio. I think it was the Rock Show or something. And it was like, he didn't actually say who it was. It was one of them things that comes on after you've had the ad break.
yeah.
And the song just comes in, and I was like, fucking hell, sounds like Tool. The intro.
Yes.
I was like, whoa, we've finally got like a new. This weren't on 10,000 days, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then it kicks in fucking, and I say Bruce, and it's like, oh, hang about, this is Maiden. Then
I could picture Tool doing this as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know what I mean?
It was picture Maynard doing that quite a bit.
Yeah, and the music especially.
And the riff is that off timing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely off.
It's definitely something Tool would write.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone else sees it.
Yeah.
But then when it kicks in, fuck me, is it heavy with the fucking high pitched guitars and all the rest of it? And it's like I say, funny, I heard this on the radio. But if you hadn't heard this before and you caught this heavy section before the lyrics come in, you couldn't tell it's Maiden.
No.
Normally you could drop into any instrumental section in a Maiden song and you go, that's Maiden.
Sounds like or this band's nicked
this from
Maiden. Yeah,
but
and then you realise, it is Maiden. Yeah.
If you dropped into that heavy section after the intro, but before the verses kick in,
yeah,
you'd be like, fucking hell, what's this?
Yeah.
And credit to Maiden, they've actually looked. Credit to the Smith, Harris, Dickinson again. They've actually looked at it and gone, what can we do different here?
Yeah.
And this again is this is all because of Adrian wrote Passchendaele, because this is 9 minutes, and Aidan Smith doesn't write 9 minutes, or he never used to, but now he's doing it. He's using all the tools in the toolbox, and he's got a lot. And he's making some crazy melodies, some crazy fucking time signatures, and it's given Maiden a whole new sort of ball game at the moment, you know.
One thing as well is Nico's drumming on this.
Oh mate,
it's just
fucking hell,
because this is such the riffs are kind of off and out of time and a bit weird, but he brings it all together.
Of course he does, yeah. I mean,
and he's all over that kit, but he's making it all work.
Yeah,
and
that's it, exactly. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, Dickinson even said on the documentary, he said, if I was to give anyone in the band the Man of the Match award, for this album. It's Nico. He said his drumming is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it isn't on every other fucking album he's ever done.
Oh yeah,
but
Nico
now,
ran on a bad day. Yeah.
Again, this all comes back to, it helps out that you've got a producer who actually understands that drums need to be front and centre. We're finally hearing Nico. I know I keep going on about it and all this shit, but it's right. When you can hear Nico McBrain clearly and everything he does, the Maiden songs take on a whole new fucking level of appreciation, because you can actually hear stuff and get why stuff is happening. And it's brilliant.
Yeah. And when that pulse comes on, you got that clean notes, and then he just does the build, repeats
the build
out of the darkness, and it just builds
to...
up and builds up and builds up, and then bang.
Oh, and it kicks in, then it with a fucking kerrang, like it's so.
And it is just
hairs on the back
of your neck. Yeah, brilliant. And again, lyrically, I mentioned this quite a while ago. Actually, I said I was listening to a podcast or a stream or something, and the guy said like he had a theory that in the 80s and the 90s, people were quite hedonistic. They didn't really plan for the future. They would just, let's go out and get fucked, and He said, but he went, we grew up going to bed not knowing if we were going to wake up. He was like, I remember like in school and like in between the kids' television, there would be a thing to do if a bomb goes off. Yeah. And he'd be like, hide behind your door and behind the sofa and put
like that. In that Young Ones episode. Yeah, when Neil's got to protect and survive and paint myself white to deflect the blast.
Yeah, he said,
like, but fuck off.
And this guy must be approaching like if I'm approaching my 40s now, he's approaching his 50s. So I'm just giving you a rough bracket of how old this guy was. But he just said like, he went, that must have done something to us in our psyche to go. Well, because we used to say it, fuck it, could be dead next week. It was just a normal thing. But imagine a generation just going, fuck it, I might be dead next week. I might not wake up tomorrow. A bomb could go off like that, and that's casual.
That's just as it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember Bruce saying a similar sort of thing. He said like, my father's generation might have Hitler was the boogeyman or such and such was the thing, and he said we were all fascinated with the bomb. We thought, again, this thing goes off and that's it. That's reset. That's over. Yeah. If anything, the best place you can be is right in front of it.
Yeah.
Because the people that survive it are the ones.
It's fucking nasty, mate. I mean,
and we're watching, and they were watching a comedy about it, Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah,
it's again, but so this song is about the nuclear bomb and
the Manhattan Project. Yeah, and because that's what they said it was, didn't they? They said it was brighter than 1,000 suns.
Yeah,
and we talking about it. I mean, I've been to Hiroshima. I've been to the place.
I've seen someone like with a camcorder do a tour around the city. Yeah,
mate, it's crazy. You got that dome that survived.
Yeah, he shows where they actually aimed. The thing that they aimed it with, it was a fucking good shot. It was a miracle. It got as close to where it was. But it lands in two different places, didn't it? It was like one's there, one's here, and one. And there's a building, isn't there, with like a shrine outside it, and they're going.
Yeah, it's the peace
much
part.
As and it's like that thing stayed the whole.
It did.
To this day, it's still
still there. Yeah. I mean, they've got a flame now, the eternal flame. That, but it's walking around the place. It's unreal, mate. To tell you that you've been a place where such destruction happened. Like this thing that, like Dickinson says, we're playing God, and you're walking on the ground level, sort of thing. Hello. And but no, it's crazy just to be somewhere where that something like that has happened. You can't word it really.
Yeah.
But we're digressing, aren't we? I mean, we're talking about, but the song's on another level. The playing's on another level, and that bit in the middle, where all of a sudden they fucking double time it.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I think this is another one on the orchestra.
Oh mate, it's got to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
got to happen. But no, this is one of their very, very best. And if someone tells me that it's not, they're a liar.
Yeah, or they're just in denial.
Yes.
So up next we've got the Pilgrim. Dum.
Yeah, kicks in, comes in out fucking quite heavy drum intro.
Yeah.
And this is a song that when I first heard it, I was like, we've had 3 knockouts. Here comes a bit of filler just to keep the ball rolling. But the more you listen to this, the more it fucking sticks in your ears and don't really go. And I was a bit worried because obviously it's Yannick. This is his first contribution to the album. Him and Steve, they like writing together. And I was worried we was going to get another Montsegur.
Yeah, that was an odd song. It was
bollocks, mate. Total bobbins. But he redeems himself on this because this is a quite nice, fast-paced song. First one on the album, really. That's a constant pace, like fast pace all the way through.
Yeah.
And Nico smashes it out of the park again. And
another one, actually, I've probably jumped the gun a little bit when I said about the orchestra, but yeah, no, we're going to have that. But this is another one. Brilliant little orchestral piece in the middle. Dun, 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 dun,
yes,
dun,
yeah,
dun.
big time.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think with that as well, sometimes you just need to do stuff to... You just need to put it out there and just see what happens. And, you know, I remember Sam Raimi saying, you know, I do the best I can and then I put it out there. And if it works, it works. Great. Yeah. If not, he went... The trouble is, I'm always the last to find out. And I thought that was quite a good little way of summing things up. And yeah, sometimes you're not going to know until it's on the album and it's done. And
exactly, yeah.
Just see. And that, the test of time as well. And yeah, that was one song that it didn't quite work. But sometimes you need to do something not to work to find out what does, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think he's rectified.
I don't begrudge him too much, yeah.
And it's weird the way they talk about it because if you're watching the documentary talk about it, because you always see this Gers-Harris relationship. Apparently what it is, Yannick, like Steve was saying, Yannick brings in like 3 or 4 different ideas and Steve basically gets all like plasticine and goes and makes something out of them. Which is fucking weird. Like it's weird. It sounds like Yannick's the sort of guy who'll write a riff or he'll do a melody or he'll get a hook, but he don't quite know where to take it. Whereas the master will come in and go, Yann, come here, son. We'll take this bit from here, we'll put this bit here, and we'll make a fucking 5-minute epic. And it fucking does. Because this is a song that shouldn't really work for me. It's that typical, here we go, like I said earlier, it's a Maiden filler. But it's not. It's doing it a disservice, calling it filler. It just doesn't happen to be as good as the first 3 that come before.
Yeah, but some songs are just album tracks, isn't it? It's not so much it's fillers. Fillers to me is a song that's on like a second from last song, and it's. But then again, I think fillers can be great. Like, look, a prime example is Skid Row. There's the get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That song is filler all day long, but it's over time it's become one of my favourite Skid Row songs, you know. But because it's just fun.
Yeah.
But some songs just need to sit there between that and that.
Yeah, just to bridge the gap.
They just slot in nicely. Yeah, you might not necessarily have to do it live or be a single, but it just guides the album.
Yeah, because albums are all about flow, aren't they? Which is what you lose in the current day and age with Spotify and Deezer and all that, where you get singles and songs.
Yeah.
You don't get an album.
Yeah.
Which is, I know it's your thing. You don't like listening to advanced tracks, do you? You like to do them in order because obviously they're in order for a reason.
Yeah, and not only that, it just gives me the wrong impression. It just really, I've always been a bit hesitant with it. And when you get a song with Metal Hammer and that, I always found it never gave you a good idea of what was coming. And it really hit me with the last Slayer album because the first single on that album was released a year before that album. And we had three singles, and I think maybe you may have had even 4 songs by the time the actual album dropped. And I remember thinking, I do not feel good about this. And then I played the album and loved it. And all the songs I didn't like, I did like on the album because it just all came together.
Yeah.
And they don't. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with who chooses it, and yeah, that's a different thing, I suppose. But yeah, at that point, it was Repentless was the one when I just went, well, I'm not listening to advanced tracks anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always like to sit back and wait. But yeah. So on to one of my favourite songs on the album. Not my favourite, but he's one of my favourites.
This is a fucking another work of art.
Yeah, The Longest Day. I shared it on Facebook the other
week.
See
it the other day, yeah.
When it was The Longest Day.
Yeah.
Where
do you start,
isn't it? It's a film. It's the tension, the drama, it's all just.
And it's Adrian again. He's writing another epic, but he's doing it in a different way. He's using picking weird chords.
Yeah.
You're almost like, what note is he playing? But he's playing exactly the right note. He's setting a scene.
Yeah, it's building the tension.
Yeah.
With Bruce's vocals, the different voices he uses. He is narrating a story on this.
And the lyrics.
Yeah, the stakes. Everything. I don't think Steven Spielberg could have done it better.
No, I mean it literally puts you on the beach, doesn't it? I mean, like say, Saving Private Ryan is the first film that really put you on the beach.
Yeah. But
this actually takes you there. You don't have to be watching it to be there. You're like, fuck. Yeah. And like I say, the lyrics, I mean, fucking hell, the way he sets that scene.
Mm.
Talking about, fucking hell, I could quote the whole song. All the lyrics, just all of them are so good.
Yeah.
But Adrian he's really found himself with longer songs, and this is another shining example of
even just the way the layers just come on top, and it just builds and builds and builds. And even then, Nico just going boom, 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 boom. That just comes in right at the right time.
Does, yeah.
And that's a little mine going off in the background. It's it's just brilliant. And then when it just finally comes together, just bang, when that first bridge of the chorus comes in, and with Bruce holding that note.
Yeah.
Again, nice keyboards as well, just elevate things even more.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's just,
and then,
just majestic, mate, is
that's the word, yeah. And then just that nice and high and back down to earth. How long?
Yeah.
And then, what a fucking chorus.
It's great, isn't it?
Great vocal melody.
Yeah.
Nice bouncy rhythm underneath it. And again, it's just the battering that they were getting. It was just like, this is getting hopeless. How much more can we take? And you see the guy even like referencing Saving Private Ryan when he's fucking trying to see a guy, and then all of a sudden the bullet hits the guy in the head, and he just fucking goes off on my neck. Give us a fucking chance, you mother!
Yeah.
And he's being dragged away.
Losing his mind,
And it was. It just captures all of it. It's brilliant. I would love. That's one thing actually. I would love to know if a veteran ever did listen to this album, what they thought.
Yeah, what they would take away from it. They would. Yeah, it would be good. See if Bruce is actually.
You always, they're always at premieres of films, and
But a band like this who are writing songs like this that put, like I say, we think they put you in this place.
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah, like you say, get an actual veteran there, the actual vet to say, look, or whether they want to fucking listen to it.
Yeah, then again, that's always the thing as well.
End up with fucking.
They always get this, the guy with his medals in a wheelchair and that, and mate watches film. It's like, thanks. I just relived the fucking most traumatic fucking.
Yeah,
I life. Thanks.
Watched my entire battalion get slaughtered, cheers.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. So I say it's got his approval,
Yes. Yeah, but no, I mean, there aren't the words to say how good this is.
Yeah, and great song live as well. And I remember the night we saw them, I don't know what happened, but I don't know if Bruce missed a beat or something happened with the sound. But the how long you actually for one moment you actually caught Steve singing on his own.
Yeah.
He's only did a bit of backing vocal, but for some reason he went right to the forefront. I don't know if there was a tweak with the sound.
No, wasn't that the gig where the fucking power went?
Maybe, yeah.
And they were playing football on stage.
It was the thing, yeah. But I remember just for that split second, I just heard Steve singing on his own.
Yeah.
And it was like, and he was like, oh, he can hold a note. It's not something you really hear about with Steve. You know?
Yeah, I think that was that because when the power went out, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it was about 10 minutes, wasn't it, or something like that, where it was just Bruce had a megaphone trying to fucking speak to people.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a funny night. He had a Mexican wave going. He was kicking footballs into the crowd, and
then when they finally got the power back, he said, "I've got an announcement to make. It wasn't one of our cables that blew out."
Yeah,
Cue fucking 15,000 people going boom, boom. It's like fucking hell. But the geezer who ran Earl's Court must have been shitting himself.
Yeah. Yeah. We had that in my building, funny enough, with this rain last night. Lightning hit one of the national grid.
Yeah.
And tripped a load of our UPSs. So my guy who was on nights last night was raising a load of fucking building incident reports.
Fucking hell, lovely.
It all caught it and held the load, and everything was fine, but it happened. It had to be reported, and a report that, like, where nothing happens is just as long as stuff that did, you know, if anything, the stuff that's like something major happens are actually easier to do because you actually got something to say. If not, you got to fill all these questions out. Yeah, but always fun and games when our electrics go wrong. Yeah. So, right, so I think Longest Day, I think, is a standout track. But there's all sorts of good stuff on this album. So a bit more of a straightforward track, really. Out the Shadows. Yeah,
it's the first Dickinson Harris composition, and for me, it's a Maiden power ballad, which they're rarer than rocking all shit anyway. But we've had 2 in consecutive albums. We've had Journeyman and now this. But this is what Navigate the Seas of the Sun tried to be for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think what separates them,
a bit like that. Yeah.
What separates them is the difference between Roy Z and Steve Harris as a co-songwriter. Is where Steve will know exactly what, as I said earlier, he knows exactly what to do with a certain melody or exactly what to do with a section. Yeah. Whereas I think if Bruce was trying to get Roy Z to have a collaborating on Navigate the Seas of the Sun, and Roy just didn't have it in him to be able to steer the song where it should have gone. Because I said Navigate the Seas of the Sun, I thought was quite dull, which is unusual because they're normally the sort of songs that pique your interest because they're different. They've got something going on. But it bored me. Whereas this is like fucking hell, you know, this has got everything going for it. And I think that's the difference because Steve Harris is there just in the background, just tweaking and manipulating and getting the song where it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, again, it's another one of those songs for me that just, it's not a song I skip to, but I enjoy it while it's on. But then again, I only ever listen to this album in one full thing. But good vocal melody on there as well. Quite a big chorus, and it's short for this album's term.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes.
Standard,
isn't it? Yeah.
But I'm happy I get a song under 6 minutes on this album. So, sure. What's the next one? The single that we mentioned earlier, The Reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg. A bit of an odd song, this one. Not sure what I think of it, actually.
It's a Dave Murray banger, but not as
there is that.
But not as we know
typical.
it.
Yeah.
No, this is Dave joins a 7-minute club in style. I think this is a brilliant song.
It's not a solo piece, though, is it?
He's only ever done one solo piece, and that was Charlotte the Harlot.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, great atmospheric introduction.
With the lead playing. It's proper fucking air guitar stuff, isn't it? That air
guitar melody, and, you know. But then at the end of the melody, it's just the keyboard just goes.
Yeah. Well, the old guitar sort of growls its way out, doesn't it? And just starts.
On the single as well, you got Eddie in that graveyard as well. It's got that. You know, if anything, it could be a follow-on from Fear of the Dark. Yeah. You know, you're in the graveyard, maybe some lit houses in the background, and that's the only light you've got. You know, there is a bit of let me tell you about my life. Let me tell you get to tell the story of how this person is reincarnated. I'm not quite sure what the story was. I know there was this like website with a diary.
Oh, there was, about born in the fucking 1939 or something, and
it's a guy that's looking for his lost brother.
That's
his
it.
Brother is Benjamin, and then he's going to go meet him. And
it turns out his brother's Eddie, didn't it, or whatever.
Yeah, and the day he's going to go meet him is the day the single was released.
That's it. Yeah,
things like that. So it all just they kind of builded up this big. For the fans, but it was just like it didn't really go anywhere.
No, it was a bit of a letdown, wasn't it? It was a bit of a letdown, but fuck it. That aside, I mean, the song's fabulous. I like the video as well, where it's just all the highlights from past glories and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. But Nico, although he's only playing a standard 4/4 beat, he does some really intricate work on the hi hat to sort of dance around it. Although he's keeping a standard. But he's doing these weird little fills on the hi hat just to keep it alive and stuff, and I think he steals it.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of good stuff going on, and but I just don't think it needs to be 7 minutes. Is all. So,
what could you cut though? What could you cut?
Mate, I probably would have just finished it a bit off the end. Maybe, don't know. It's quite a straightforward song when all's said and done, and then you got a nice little twiddly bit, and then it's quite a mid-pace sort of groove song.
Yeah, it is a groovy song, yeah.
And I don't know, when I picture 7 minutes, it's like, wow, we're going on a journey. I mean, look what ground we cover on Longest Day or Brighter Than a Thousand Suns is 8 minutes. I'll give you that. Yeah. Or even These Colours Don't Lie, that's sort of slightly shorter. The songs go on a journey, but this is quite a straightforward rocker, and it's 7 minutes. I mean, I suppose the intro has a lot to.
Yeah, that's a couple of minutes. Yeah. I mean, to me, it doesn't feel like 7 minutes, but I can see where you're coming from on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit weird one for Dave, isn't it? Like I say, normally these songs are fucking 3.5 minutes. Boom. Like, take your head off, blazing solos. Perhaps he's looked at Adrian and gone, you know what, I want some of that.
Yeah, maybe,
But controversial point, I don't think he should have done, because this is the last great Dave Murray song.
Oh, okay. We've only got 2 more albums to go. So.
Yeah, but you get an album. You get a song, at least a song, an album.
Yeah.
He hasn't written anything near his standard, and let's be fair, his standard is fucking high.
Yeah, I mean, Final Frontier, I need to reassess. I don't really remember a lot about it. A bit of a spoiler. I actually struggle with this album. I'm looking forward to reassessing this one. The jury's still out. Hopefully, it clicks. I don't like not liking the album, but this one just, I don't know. It left me unmoved at the time. Anyway,
like Killers, yeah.
So, no, nothing like Killers. So. Yeah. So yeah, it's, we're leaving. That's weird, isn't it? Leaving a Dave Murray song without it being the best on the album, or like. No, and I normally, he's
love it, don't
you? The gem man, yeah.
You've discovered a new love for him, haven't you? Over doing this series, it's like.
He is he's just that. Whenever you have a story, be it like King Arthur or, even Sons of Anarchy. If Iron Maiden was Sons of Anarchy, Dave Murray would be OP.
Yeah.
Who's that knight? He's Arthur's right hand man, really. He's not the leader, but he's the fucking one that the leader can rely on the most. He's the one. And Dave Murray is that guy. He's been there. He's been on every album, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna do one song. That'd do me. He's not Flash. He's not thing. Don't.
Free.
Huh?
Till Brave New World when he wrote Free.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but he had to step up then, didn't he? Because they'd lost 2 songwriters. They'd lost Bruce and Adrian. And Yannick's not really prolific.
Yeah.
So he had to step up then. But now he's back to his. No, the others are carrying it. I'll chip in here and there. But yeah, this is little take of an epic, and yeah, I'm afraid it starts a downward trend. Rest in peace, Dave Murray Banger.
Right, moving on to what I think is the masterpiece on the album. This is my favourite song.
It's a special one, isn't it?
I didn't even realise it was 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
I was just talking about song lengths. This 9 minutes flies by. It's over before you know it.
And it's the only Harris solo composition, which is weird. Normally he brings at least a couple.
Yeah.
Well, it shows the love for this one because it's on the fucking Legacy of the Beast tour, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's the one. It's the song that stood out to me. I mean, I would listen to this album, and even after the tour, I would skip straight to this song. I think this is where I'm talking about earlier when you're questioning the relevance of it all. Is this really worth it? Is this for the greater good of God? It's like, well, we're a bit like what we're going for at the moment. It's I'm seeing broken eggs everywhere, but I've yet to see an omelette. And this it's the fatigue. It's the the lyrics say it all. Really, it's not really too much of a complicated piece, but
it is about. Yeah. Obviously, when it was written as well, you had obviously religious fundamentalism was a big thing. Well, not that it isn't a big thing now, but it was never more prevalent than it was around this time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you had obviously 9/11 really kicked it off, and it was that time we was in Afghanistan, we was in Iraq, we were fucking chasing it all over the world, and Steve Harris has gone, you know what? I'm gonna have my fucking 2 penneth on this, or my 9 minutes as it was.
Yeah, and again, all the songs on this have great introductions. They're all building. They're not in a rush to get anywhere.
Yeah, they're breathing, aren't they? Naturally,
nice little bass introduction, and then the vocal melodies. And this is what a great melody it is as well. It just completely rolls, off the tongue. It's a fantastic poem as well. I mean, again, if you, I suppose if you was ever at like a memorial ceremony or something like that, I think you could quite steal the show by reading the lyrics to this song out just as a poem.
Yeah.
Are you a man of peace or a man of holy war? Too many sides to you, don't know which anymore. So many full of life, but also filled with pain. Don't know just how many will live to breathe again. A life that's made to breathe destruction or defense. A mind that's vain corruption, bad or good intent. This is the best bit. A wolf in sheep's clothing or saintly, a sinner. Or some would believe a holy war winner. Brilliant.
Oh, Harris knows how to write them, doesn't he? We talked about Dickinson's lyrics, but Harris has fucking brought the whole thing.
You've got that melody, ding, 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 and he's got that vocal melody just carried. But then when he gets at the Holy War winner, the man of the match fucking kicks in. Nico's drums on this.
Amazing,
I don't know if he's doing it on his feet or his arms. You're the drummer, you know what he's doing.
Because I play this. This is on my Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But that is all feet. That is fucking. But all the.
But what an odd pattern. But it just carries the song, and it's like a machine gun beat, and even just that.
Yeah, but he does a little feel in it to bring it back and then goes back again. Yeah, fucking great, mate.
Brilliant. And then when it comes to that, and a word that's used too much
now what love is.
Days, but what an epic chorus. It's just, you can't.
It's a pre-chorus, isn't it? Now tell me now what love is. Tell me now what, I can't fucking hell, I can't remember it. But yeah.
Tell me now what life is. Tell me now what love is.
Because the chorus is.
What war is. Begin. Tell me what life is. And then,
because the chorus is standard Steve Harris chorus, isn't it?
Yeah. But it builds it up to it, though, doesn't it? Because he's talking about all the thing. And then, I mean, I suppose the chorus, those lyrics alone, you could use in a whole host of different songs. But, to me, it's a soldier in the middle of despair going, what the fuck is this all for? Because it's getting airy now. You know.
And the melody under the chorus when it does kick in for the greater good of God, you've got the guitar melody underneath it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just fucking brilliant. And it's you know, it's one of Harris's best.
I wouldn't say it's all downhill from here, but to me, this is the album's climax. Now it's wearing down. This is the peak, and we've kind of got the conclusion and then like an epilogue.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. This is the fucking, how can we put it? This is
the battle against, you know.
Yeah, this is the final battle. This is
and then
the Avengers against Thanos, whatever. This is the big thing.
It's the journey home.
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna marry her, Mr. Frodo.
Yeah,
you know?
That's it. Yeah, yeah. This is Mount Doom.
Yeah, this song, we're on the volcano.
Yeah,
and
yeah, we're waiting for the Eagles.
Yeah, yeah. And,
but no, I mean, Lord of Light. I mean, Smith, Harris, Dickinson again. I think it's the fifth combination. So Adrian Smith has written half the album.
Yeah, he's on it.
Oh yeah, big time. He's fucking someone lit a fire under his ass. It's another mellow intro, but this one doesn't. Do we really need the intro? Because when the main riff kicks in,
reminds me a little bit of Peter Gabriel. This bit.
Yeah, I'm never really his biggest fan and Genesis and what have you. So I was never.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more Genesis than
solo stuff.
But he's he was very good at just playing with a song structure and sort of he was very good at the way the songs on this album sort of build up and add layers as they go along. He was very good at that. He was good at trying stuff out, and I think what didn't work, he was good at dropping. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was those first 4 or so solo albums, and his 4th solo album is actually one of Bruce Dickinson's all-time favorite albums. I said that I've seen that in an interview. He always gets it out when he's going on long walks, and Peter Gabriel's actually a big influence. Funnily enough, Ozzy Osbourne as well. Apparently, Ozzy Osbourne listens to Peter Gabriel backstage for going on.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, that just that little bit away, you know, because again, he likes to experiment with voices and he likes to tell stories and whatnot. And yeah, he's one of those type of people where you just, I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for. I just fancy something a bit different, you know. Something I can't quite get my head around first time listening to it. I need to figure out. He's always interesting for that. But yeah, when it kicks in though, it finds its feet.
Yeah, the riff works. The riff's great. Brilliant. The chorus riff is great. You know, it's like really goes up. And then funnily, you talking about the only time Maiden mentioned.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's weird you talking about the only time Maiden mentioned Satan, his Number of the Beast. Well, this song's called The Lord of Light, which is what Lucifer was. So, but you go back into the mellow, the reprise of the intro, but it works better when you've got drums underneath it, and the drums have got an effect on them, like going for a phaser almost. But then that changes up into that fucking brilliant heavy riff in the middle.
Yeah, I'm just reading the lyrics, actually. I'm trying to quickly see if I can get my head around it, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, might be, you know. Yeah, too many lyrics to read, so, but carry on.
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics. But yeah, it goes into that, obviously that heavy riff in the middle that filters around, it goes drum fill. That bit fucking that goes on, that saves the song really.
Yeah.
It's a bit stop starty.
Yeah,
it never really finds its flow.
It may be another song that could do with a little bit of a tidy up.
Yeah, big time. It's almost like we've got a collection of riffs here. I'll like put that one there, that one there, that one there, that one there. Well, hang about. Why don't we do something with it? But I think this definitely the weakest song on the album.
Yeah, but I do think the chorus.
Oh, the chorus is on another level, isn't it? And like I say, the heavy section in the middle. But saying it's the weakest song on the album, on anyone else's album.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the fact that Adrian Smith has already given us fucking Brighter Than 1,000 Suns, Longest Day, you know, whatever, we'll let him off.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're both feeling the same on this one, aren't we? It's definitely like, you know, the downhill. But I don't know. I think we might go different ways on the legacy because I really like this.
Yeah. No, I
It's
think this
another
is
Yannick's second contribution to the album again with Steve.
I didn't appreciate it much at the beginning because I thought it was a bit starty-stoppy and a bit like, where's this going?
Yeah, but I think that's what works in its favour, which is weird, which goes against the law of the light, but works for this. Because the intro is really fucking weird, almost like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
And with Bruce singing in a different key and stuff, it's fucking bizarre. Really unsettling.
I remember when they did it live as well. It was a bit like, it was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the way Bruce sings it, it really sort of sticks in the back of your mind.
Yeah, but again, listen to early Genesis albums. This is Peter Gabriel. Definitely. Right. I mean, it's becoming, the more I've pointed it out, the more it's coming to me. It's like, I think Gabriel's pretty much as much an influence on him as Dio has.
Yeah.
But it's just that you know the bit I'm going to talk about, that again, it's just a weird riff. It's a weird series of notes, but it starts off as acoustic and then it's that bam 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 bam.
There's one for your opera. Imagine that with an orchestra.
And I can imagine it in a church as well.
Oh, you're crazy.
Proper old Gothic one, stained glass windows, high thing, the lot. It's a very Gothic sounding song, and I mean that in the proper sense, not Black Number One.
Yeah. You know. But I think I know what you're going to say. You're going to talk about with the acoustic riff, but then you've got the weird electric guitar.
Yeah, but
they over the top of it,
don't they? But it sounds great. It sounds eerie. It sounds.
It does.
Yeah.
But no, I know exactly the bit you mean. Yeah, it is weird, and Yannick is. This is what Yannick brings to the band. No one else writes a song like this or has ideas like this, because obviously this is what Steve's put together. But no one else has ideas like this. You're like, fucking, what's this? But when it kicks in, I think it don't really kick in until 3 minutes when the drums kick in.
It kind of kicks in, and then it goes a bit widdly at the end, doesn't it? And then
I mean, I fucking love it when the drums.
And then at the end again, it just goes back to that. Dun, 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 dun.
But the last two verses are ingenious because Bruce is singing multiple vocal lines. If you listen to it with headphones, it's almost like 2 or 3 of him singing the same thing, but just in different keys, at different levels.
Yeah.
And they put it together. It's unsettling. It's bizarre, but it's really good.
This is a slight delay. Hopefully, when we download it, it'll tide itself up.
Oh, right, I don't know.
I'm saying something, I can hear it back.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, this is the most unique song on the album.
Yeah, and I'm just looking back at like maybe like on Dance of Death, like Age of Innocence and Facing the Sand. Like they just drop this clanger on you at the end.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is like nothing they've ever done before, and Journeyman.
Yes, yeah.
Well, but then what it harkens back to me is The Unbeliever.
Yeah.
The way that was just a very off kilter album with odd songs for Maiden, but even then it was just they finished with this complete headfuck of a song.
Yeah.
And do you think I'm having a brain fart? Sorry, the Legacy would have fit on X Factor?
Yeah. Well, the 2 personnel were on there, Yannick and Steve. So it could have been done. Who's to say there hasn't been? Yannick didn't write one of these riffs 10 years before, and he just never found a way to get it. You always read about it, don't you? Like Kirk Hammett has got a dictaphone full of riffs. He'll just fucking write.
Yeah, didn't he have like the whole next Metallica album written on his phone, and he fucking lost his phone? That's God sending you a message there, Kurt.
But
God thought it was shit.
Yeah. But like I say, who's to say he didn't have these riffs written around that time? And he just never found a way to get them in there. Yeah. But it is a unique album closer, and it definitely brings to mind Unbeliever and stuff like that. Yeah. But Maiden always go out strong. There's the only time.
Yeah, as much as we analyse album openers, we should really focus a bit more on album closers.
Maiden leave you wanting more. They're like, right, this is a statement. You're not going to hear it from us again for another 4 years.
Yeah.
There you fucking go. Digest that bastard.
Yeah.
You know, and we're still digesting this fucking 15 years later.
Yeah.
Because we still can't get our heads around it. It's like, what the fuck is he playing? What? You know, but it works. It works big time.
Yeah.
And that's what Yannick brings to the band. So Yannick haters, get on that.
Oh yeah, fucking do one. The amount of unnecessary flack that guy gets. It's
bollocks, isn't it? Total bollocks.
All he does is flounce around on the stage. No, he doesn't, though, does he?
No.
Come on.
No, you know. And I guarantee you watch him.
Yeah. The guy contributes. You know, it's
fucking contributes. He's written one of their fucking greatest songs.
Yeah, and it's just, oh god. Yeah, I know.
It makes your teeth itch, doesn't it?
Again, time and time again, he's costing the band a lot of money. If it weren't money they didn't think it was worth spending, he'd been gone ages ago. You know, it costs a lot of money to run Iron Maiden, so every penny counts, and that guy's taken home a wage. If he weren't necessary, they So, and not only that, look at what he's done outside of Maiden. He was all right for Ian Gillan.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking hell, like one of the greatest fucking musicians, like one of the greatest fucking rock icons of all time. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that is a matter of life and death, as Bruce
said at the end
when they finished the thing. Yeah. But no, I mean, you know, like you said, they never.
You know where the title come from, by the way?
Yeah, it was. Well, no one actually knows.
No, it was a film. It was a film.
Oh no, there's a film called it.
Yeah.
But apparently, no one actually knows who come up with the title.
Oh right, yeah.
Apparently, it was either Rod, Steve, or one of Kevin Shirley's assistants.
Again, it sets it up nicely because it's not so much a war film; it's set in a war.
Yeah.
It's about a pilot who. That's what my nan used to do in the war. Funny enough, she was one of the radio. She would connect all the. She was working one of the stations that connected all the. I think back in then as well, when you rang the phone, you'd be put through. So you'd speak to someone, she'd put you through.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had something to do with things. There's a picture of her in a army uniform.
All right.
Yeah, with hair like all glammed up in that side view. Photos of that time used to be like. Fuck was I on about? A matter of life and death. Yeah. So this pilot is talking to the woman on the radio through his plane.
Yeah.
And he says, like, I want to meet you at the end of this. And she's like, well, okay then. La, la, la. Anyway, his plane crashes or he gets shot down, one of the two. So he's now in heaven. And he doesn't he doesn't go straight to heaven, but he's greeted by an angel. And he's like, yeah, you're dead, you know. He's like, no, my life's not over yet. I've got to meet this girl. And he's like, no, this is it. He goes, well, surely I can appeal. And he's like, no, it don't work like that. And he's gone, no, you've got to figure out a way for me to get back because I've got to get to this I know this woman of my dreams, and if you put me back, I will make it count. Like it's know, and it's black and white film as well. Yeah. It's a charming little film, and eventually he makes his way back because this is a matter of life and death. I need to meet this woman. And brilliant. And great film actually to watch. Like it's not a kid's film, but it's a mature film that a kid can watch. There's nothing. It's easily like a PG or something like that. But war is in the background, so I thought quite a fitting title really because as much as this is about war, it's about humanity, the human condition.
It's not just about
the big questions are addressed in it. So as much as there's that constant theme, it explores a whole multitude of all different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It runs the gambit, doesn't it? Like you say, everything connected to war or the aftermath or the causes of or the whatever, you know, it it doesn't. And in that way, it is Maiden's only true concept album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because obviously we all know Seventh Son fell down.
Yeah.
As great an album as it is, it fell down.
It was an ambitious album that they couldn't
Which,
quite...
if they try to do now, they would nail.
Yeah.
But trying to do it then, as big as they were then, they're still fucking whippersnappers, weren't they? Still wet behind the ears. If they try to do it now, that'll be the album for the ages.
Well, hopefully they do.
Well, yeah, we've waited long enough. It's the longest ever wait between Maiden albums.
Yeah.
6 fucking years and counting.
So what are we giving this as a score?
It's a 10, mate.
I was expecting
No, I mean, I was toying between a 9 and a 10.
You did say last week there is some stuff on this I don't like.
Yeah, but it's...
Or did you listen to it this week?
Like, listening to it, everything is on there.
Bad off, yeah.
Everything is on there for a reason.
Yes.
And it all works for a certain reason.
And it's all setting up for what's coming next.
Yeah, and the fact that Lord of Light is the weakest track on the album by a fucking country mile is no fault of the song. It's just the fact it's on the same album as Brighter Than 1,000 Suns and The Longest Day. You can't hold it against it.
Yeah.
It's just they've knocked it out of the fucking park again, only 6 years after smashing it out of the park again. And in the interim, they've given us a fucking great album in between with Dance of Death.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an 8 or 9 out of 10. I mean, it's just a couple of songs on it I don't like. But if you take those 1 or 2 songs off, it's a perfect run.
Well, it is a case of people wind me up when they say, "Oh, well, yeah, but it's not Peace of Mind, is it?" No, it fucking ain't. It's better.
Yeah.
It's written with a different perspective on life and by better musicians, better songwriters. I'm not shitting on Peace of Mind. It's got some great songs on it.
No, it's like I remember reading an interview with Terry Pratchett once. They said, like, is your books are getting better or something like that, or is this a bit? But he went, well, in all fairness, if you've written a book, like my first book was 40 years ago, ever, and I've done a book a year since or something like that. He went, if you've not got better at something after 30 years, you what the fuck you been doing with your life, basically?
It's actually weird because when I went to see Tremonti, they did a free meet and greet at the end. Anyone who bought merch can go up and get it signed and all that. So going along the sign table, and obviously Tremonti's there. And I said to him, Mark, fucking new album, brilliant, like one of your best. He said, well, if you're not getting better, you're going backwards, which is just exactly what, I mean, and they're moving forward all the time. They're getting better. They're growing.
Yeah, I prefer Tremonti to Alter Bridge. Yeah.
Tremonti solo stuff is amazing.
Yeah, it's heavier as well.
Yeah, it is.
A bit more metal.
Well, he said he'll go into Alter Bridge rehearsals and he'll start writing double picking death metal riffs, and they're like, dude, you're not in Slayer, so he has to keep all that for the solo project. But no, I mean this is a fucking nail on 10 out of 10. I mean the stuff. I agree. What's weak?
It's a piece of work.
What is as we said, the fucking Longest Day and Brighter Than 1,000 Suns, mate. I mean they are.
Those 2 songs are worth the admission alone.
Yeah, big time.
The rest of the album could be shit.
That's it, isn't it?
It wouldn't. You go, but a bit like Virtual 11. You go, it's got its faults, but it's got it's got Klansman.
Yeah, it's got the Klansman and it's got fucking. Do you know what I mean? But no, this is nailed on 10 out of 10, and I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
Yeah, no.
And there's a reason why this is the only album was ever played in its entirety, because they believed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it stands up. I know you're talking 15 years.
They were considering. Nico actually said, "Why don't we do it with Book of Souls?"
Yeah,
and I think that was more of a
only because Nico wants to play Empire of the Clouds.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that.
Yeah, but he wants to play it with an orchestra. He's already said.
Yeah,
we've got. We need to speak to Nico, son.
Yeah. He said, I was saying, why don't we do it a couple of years ago? Did the old bloody thing. I'm up for that,
We need to get hold of him.
I would love to fucking do a podcast with Nico. Mate. Someone set us up.
Yeah, please.
You
fucking hell. Even if it's only for 10 minutes.
Yeah. 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 Right. Something to tell you. Right.
Yeah. Fucking legend.
Yeah, I mean, I've even listened to Listen with Nico.
They're brilliant.
I'm gutted when they're over. When he, right, that's it. I'm like, say, I can listen to him all day.
Mighty Type Vag and the Bleeding Bodge Up Company.
Yeah.
Fucking love it, mate. Love it.
Show it that. Yeah. Smacking the microphone.
Beating the shit out of it, isn't it?
All right, so I'm going down the pub now. I'm going to have a beer. And
toodaloo. Back in the day when he's drunk.
So, on that note, I think we'll do it like that. Well,
yeah.
I'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen, when we'll be hooking back up with Blaze Bayley for the man who would not die.
And it is Blaze Bayley this time, isn't it?
This time it is Blaze Bayley. He's got a whole new lineup, a new management, and he's picked himself up, brushed himself off, and starting again. And it's a monster of an album, it's got to be said. And
I haven't heard a fucking. I haven't heard a note off of it.
Yeah,
I haven't heard a note off of it at all.
Monstrous songs. It's a pretty.
I'm quite long for it.
So that will be. I'll be looking forward to assessing that. As usual, thank you so much for watching.
Yep.
If you are new to the show, welcome aboard. Go back and listen to the other ones and make yourself, listen to the series. Use it as an introduction or an afterthought. It's entirely up to you. And we'll be doing this every Friday. We are going through the entire Iron Maiden back catalogue, including side projects and solo albums and all in between, the whole Iron Maiden canon. And we're glad to have you aboard and along for the journey. So thanks again for watching. Have a great week, everyone. And we will see you next week for Blaze Bayley's The Man That Will Not Die. Toodaloo!
Molly says goodbye.
See you later.